Right, let's try something a little bit different. I thought I'd done an Ecology creative glitchless run at some point, just as a very relaxed run. But turns out that was a all achievements glitchless run instead. So we're going to try doing the Ecology one now. So we'll need a hatching enzyme. We need a scanner as well, funnily enough. We also need 2 blue tablets and an orange tablet. Start with fins. I'm actually going to drop some of these in here because I just don't want them, you know. 2, 1, have that at 1, that at 2, that at 3, that at 4. Sure, and that at 5. Okay. So we can scan the rabbit rat immediately if we want. There's also the whole fish. In all blueprints, you want to pick up the whole fish immediately. It's actually quite a good spawn. Would have been a good spawn for glitched, to be honest. What we're also actually going to do is we're just going to take a small liberty here. Oops. And make a location station. We're going to make the ultralight fins, just to go a little bit faster. There we go. Basically, I just want a nice, relaxing run where not having the annoying, whirring noise of the sea glide constantly. But if we're going to be using just fins, then we may as well use the fast fins. Also, I was meant to up patch. I'm currently running on the down patch version. Was meant to swap back to the current patch for something we'll address later, but for now, we'll stick with what we've got. I think it's fine. Swimming on top of the water is faster than going in a straight line. We are wanting to go down on a bit of an angle though. I'm not entirely sure where the right point to go down is, but somewhere around here would be the right time to get a downward angle motion going on, just to make it so that you're travelling down the hypotenuse of the angle as opposed to going across and then down. So in Glitchless, the urgency on getting to the cuttlefish is not quite as high. We could have stopped past a lot of places on the way. I can't remember if swapping away from the scanner and back to it resets it immediately, because otherwise there's a little bit of a cooldown. So the pygmy fan here. And in the glitched mode of this, you really ideally want to collect a cuttlefish egg and get it hatching as soon as you can so it'll never time gate you. For glitchless we have a little bit more leisure. This way. I should have made the rebreather just to get rid of the oxygen warnings. Which way? This way. I'm just going to scan a shuttle bug on my way out. Why not? Gonna head over towards this wreck. Want just a normal bulb bush. That's a pygmy. That's right, we need a common bulb bush. While I'm here, and while it's here, we're also going to get this ampule. Because why not? Now we want to find an eye, thank you. Very convenient. And want to swim underneath the wreck here. There's usually some mesmers hanging around. It's also where they have their eggs. So, I'm trying to look for one now. It'd be unfortunate if I don't find one, but we may be able to find one later. We'll stay down around these caves for now, in the hopes that we see one. They are annoying to find later. Never mind. There's one. There we go. Just in time. Now, what constitutes a giant bulb bush? Are you a giant enough bulb bush? You're not. You're a large bulb bush, not a giant bulb bush. We need to come over here for a giant. There is one further back that we may have been better off getting. This is a bit further out of our way. But that's okay. Giant bulb bush. Now we want to head over to see our old friend Mabel, who we visit regularly in any percent runs, and many times in bingo. See how she's doing? I'm glad that it's not night time yet. Where is Mabel? Here is Mabel. And creative, obviously the creatures don't attack you. You are invisible as far as they're concerned. But it is much easier to scan one if you use the stasis rifle, because they twist and turn around so much that it's just a case of holding them steady. They have a very weird hitbox, unfortunately. You have to really hit them right there. And you still want to scan behind them, even in creative. Yes, we know. Mabel doesn't like being scanned. So even in creative, it's important to scan from behind them, because if you get too close, they will still grab you once they're in that animation, even though you're technically invisible. It seems that something to do with the stasis can kind of glitch out, and because you'll never actually die, you get kind of caught in a bit of a loop with the grab animation. Obviously, in non-creative modes, you definitely want to scan from behind, because you don't want to accidentally get caught by their damage. Which, even when stasis, it holds them in place, but it doesn't render them inert. So over here, for Glitchless, is where we are going to be putting a multi-purpose room with a hatch. And build the alien containment with another hatch. Did appear immediately. And drop the cuttlefish egg, because we do need to scan one. They take 20 minutes to scan, and this is the only place we come remotely close to doubling back on in this run. Most of the time we're not doing that. So here's where we can start to just scan a few other bits and pieces. It's, in many ways, you want to avoid scanning things out of order if you are just learning the run, because you may confuse yourself later by thinking you've scanned something, but you haven't if you're thinking of previous runs. So sticking closely to notes can be very important. I'm just going to scan some things that I pass regardless. Static things like plants I'm less concerned about. It's more fish that present themselves so opportunistically in my way that I may as well just scan to get them out of the way. And we'll take a nice swim around the mountain. Like, this peeper is presenting itself very conveniently, so we may as well do that. We'll also get the enzyme databank entry from that, which will confuse our count a little bit later, but it is in a different section. Coming in here, in a glitched run we would cut the corner, but we're just going in the normal way. We could run up on the beach otherwise and then just jump down into the cave probably. Maybe that would be quicker. I'm not sure. Might have been worth considering. It is hard to see in here without a light. Maybe I should have kept my flashlight on me. I shouldn't need the knife, so... Regress shell. And the spotted dockleaf. The redwort. One of the most important scans now, the spiked horngrass, something easily forgotten about, both in this and in 100%. A brain coral, which we scan from the side because if it pops up the oxygen bubbles it interrupts the scan. The filled papyrus. And move down onto the tree leech. We got that earlier actually, come to think of it. We'll get the cave bush. The violet bow. You can still hear Mabel on the other side of the island. The mountain terrain does not block sound for some reason. There is no baffle filter put in the way in the terrain. Reapers also have a habit of phasing into the terrain whenever they please. Okay, I believe that's everything from here. Hopefully, anyway. Retrace our steps. It's a fighter, which we did scan earlier. So, now into the underwater islands area. This spadefish is pretty much in our way, so we're going to chase after him. Perfect. There's a hoopfish down there, but it's running away from us a little bit. We really want to take advantage of anything that's directly in our path. This hoopfish is less out of the way. Scan the ancient floater. They are also found at the floating island. But the important thing for this biome is the earth and coral tubes, because they are not found anywhere else. We do need a bone shark now. They do hang about a little bit closer to the surface as well. Sometimes they'll be along the edge. Here's one over here, in fact. Thought he was coming towards me, not quite. Here we are. There we go. We have spadefish, we have hoopfish. Now we make our way back towards our life pod. We're done for this section. Of course, being creative, we're not able to death warp our way back to save time. So we have to do it the long way. But we can do it by swimming on top of the water, which is faster. There are other fish that we will be wanting to scan, but we can find them all later. So we'll swim across until we're around 100 or 200 meters away from our base, I suspect. I think 200 meters is about where we want to be. The sun will be coming up soon. Make it easy to see. There's the kelp forest biome message. And here we are, here's the sea glider wreck. It's approximately this angle that we expect to come in on. Scan the acid shrooms. There's the veined nettle. Writhing weed. Coral tube. There's also some garryfish hanging around here. We may as well take advantage of that. A bladderfish as well. All of these are very much just a scan as you come across them sort of thing. There is a coral shell plate here. Table coral. Gas pods here are quite convenient. Boomerang, since it's here, why not? Head now into the kelp area, where we hope that by hanging around nearby... Yep, and sure enough, there is a stalker tooth. We have a bunch of things scheduled to scan in this area at this point, because we expect that these stalkers will need time to drop teeth, but we got very lucky there. Fortunately, the stalkers themselves can be very annoying to scan because they do like to move about an awful lot and get a bit caught up in the creep vine. We do need to scan the seeds as well, I believe. Now we pop down into the caves here. Hoopfish we got before, I believe. Hoverfish did we get before? We did not. There we are. Down here. Here's our backup for mesmers, but they're not guaranteed to be hanging around here. They're pretty common, but not always. Coming through here briefly, scan the crashfish here. There is an angle you can get one of the plants as well without first breaking it. It is a little bit finicky sometimes. For some reason, I'm not entirely sure why. It's probably quicker just to break the crashfish out at that point. Up we come. But we would rather avoid violence if we can. And now we work our way back towards the life pod. Now this is where being on the old patch as opposed to the current patch is relevant, because the sky rays do not come down as close to the life pod on the old patch, whereas on the new patch they actually come and roost directly above it, which is very convenient. So what we expect to do at this point is pop up and scan a skyray easily. What we're actually going to have to do is waste a little bit of time and build our way up to them, which is at least quite fun. I don't believe I can actually place a foundation anywhere close to this spawn though, which is a bit frustrating. There we go. So that just gives us a little bit of a base to work off. And then we go here.
All primary systems online.
Here. Let's pop back on here. So on current patch we would have probably been able to simply jump our way immediately up. Let's just put that there, I think, and do that there. Put this into the base. And now I have a hatch above, so we can walk up here. It will try and drop you off, like so. This is where the current patch is very much the thing to use for this category. I don't know why it behaves like that. Here we are. So as you can see, they're still quite a way up. But we can continue our tower. Can I even go higher? No. But we can do that. I was hoping to put one on top. That's fine. Enter. And once again we put some... Well, not once again because we didn't need to in the first one. But place some ladders down. And now we place hatch. Not there. Has to be above. There we are. No. Thankfully we put that hatch there. There we are. That's more like it. Oh, we might be able to... No, we're still not quite within range. We're getting very close though. Can we place something? Yes, we can. Good. So now we place one here. One here. And one there. Third one up there as well. Oh, very close to that one now. In we go. This is all time wasted that we do not spend on the current patch. And then here we go. And hopefully that'll be much closer now. Now we just have to wait for one to come in. Are you coming towards me or away from me? You are kind of coming towards me. Yes, there we go. Perfect. All that for one scan. And we continue onwards. That's about the halfway point. A little bit earlier, but... I believe we're pretty much done for shallows fish. We've done peeper. We've done bladderfish. We should have done all of the plants by now as well. We got the whole fish at the start. We got the rabbit rat at the start. Stalkers we're done with. Garyfish we're done with. Boomerang we're done with. Should probably have been swimming on top of the water for this bit, to be honest, just to get a little bit of extra speed. Theoretically, you can check your progress as you go, but it is a lot easier in many respects to simply just look at the totals at the end, so that way you know you've done them. So technically that's a jelly shroom that I can scan right here, but I do need to go all the way down in order to scan a crab snake. Unfortunately, it looks like we're not lucky, and there's not one. Oh, there is one here. Perfect. In creative, we can just get right up close and scan them from here. If this was survival, then it would have done that on us. Instead it did that on a different fish. We need to find an oculus, however, and they're not so convenient today. Here we go. You can also at any point just use the stasis rifle, just to make them hold still, essentially. Often worth doing for the sand shark coming up shortly, because they are very annoying in their movement. I believe we got eyes before. And now we get to the floaters. We already have regionals. We already have biters. We already have spadefish. Sand shark. Just thumping into the side of the cliff there. Let's just get him done like that, because it's so much quicker than trying to chase after him. And up to the reef bank. Here we scan the reefback, the most pleasant leviathan in the game. Unfortunately, targeting them can be tricky because of all of the extra stuff that sits on their back. But some of that stuff is useful, like this tiger plant. It's a very useful place to, in fact, we did get brain coral before. Very useful place to pick up on additional things that you may have missed previously. We do need a rouge cradle, which I noticed was not on that one, but is often on the backs of these. We shall check the back of this one. Yes, there we go. Far corner. There is one further down if we need to, but it's more convenient without swimming all the way down. There's a sinkhole just down there where there is one. So now we're going to head to the Grand Reef, so we're going to swim on top of the water for a bit. Head towards the clouds indicating the presence of the floating island. And now's about the time to go down an angle once again. The speed gain from surface swimming counteracted by going down on an angle. We want to get to about the 300 meter depth mark. This is a backup place where you can scan bone sharks in plenty, if need be, but they're usually directly in your path, in the underwater islands anyway. So halfway there, 160, we want to get about 300. Spadefish we should have earlier. It is possible to scan some of these things on our way as well, such as this anchor pod. Too far away there. There's a series of membrane trees down this pathway. We want to follow this ridgeline down to this area. We should see Ghost Leviathan spawn in shortly. It should be around this area. Here he is. Perfect. On target. Almost good. Scan the membrane tree. And we're definitely going to need the stasis rifle for this one because he's a speedy boy. And it's a bit annoying in some ways in creative. The fact that you are invisible to them means they don't conveniently charge towards you. They're more likely to just swim away from you instead. But they do tend to have a bit of a loop that they'll follow, so he will come back, hopefully. Yes, here we go. Maybe. Cannot decide where he wants to go. Their hitbox is trash. There we go. Once again, avoid being in front of them while you scan. Less of an issue on creative because they don't have an animation, but still a consideration on survival because you do not want to get caught by them. So I want to head back over this way slightly. There's a big outcropping over here that we want to duck behind. We're about the right point, I believe. Or is it that one we want to be past? I think we may have gone a little bit further than we planned. No, I think that might be perfect. That looks like the silhouette of a sea treader. Yes, here we go. Sea treader leviathans. Amusing creatures. Broadly pointless. They have a nasty kick if you annoy them. They do also stir up an endless supply of shale, which is very useful if you need diamonds, gold, or lithium, which are all very useful things in a casual gameplay. Now we want to go back towards the life pod slightly as we angle our way up. Need to go to the floating island now. There are a variety of land-based plants. Some are on the mountain island as well, but many are exclusive to the floating island. The easiest place to find many of them are actually around the Degassy sea bases. Land base, if you will, I suppose. Now, being glitchless, we are having to approach from the central pool here. When playing glitched, we can simply speed jump our way up. Our cuttlefish egg has now hatched. I mean, there's a pink cap right here, so I may as well grab that, since it's on my way. A speckled rattler would be really convenient. Not sure if I pass any. If I do, that will be good, because it will prevent me going as far out of my way that I would otherwise. But I don't know if I'll be quite that lucky. Yes, I will. Perfect. Good. There, and I may as well scan this bulbo tree, since I'm right next to it. Also this Ming plant, since I'm right next to it. Everything else, I believe, I will be finding in due time. To run up here, then head to the right. I believe this is the base that I wish to find the next lot of things. Of course it's now night time, which is unfortunate. I think I missed the path but found my way anyway. There's a box in the way of the door, which doesn't help. Don't need the bulkhead. We do need the lantern fruits. The fern palm. This is the main place that I know of to find the fern palm. I'm sure it is elsewhere, but it's the most convenient position for it. The Jaffa cup. The grub basket. That's actually scanning the grow bed, which I didn't mean to do, but grub basket, there we go. Even though while it was indicating that I was scanning the grub basket, it was not. And we now jump down the hill. And there is a cave crawler here, which I'm actually going to just stun because they're very annoying, jumping about all over the place. Marble melons. Chinese potato. I believe that's everything, because we do have the lantern fruits, the Jaffa cup. I believe that's everything, and if not, you won't be seeing this video. So now we head back towards the lifepod, angling down, because we want to head towards the sparse reef. There are a couple of things that are the most convenient things to find there, and also one where it is pretty much the only place we can find it, which is an important detail for this run. Come through this little gap here, and then we should be able to pop down into one of the caves here. Here we are. It is difficult to see at night time. So, things to find here. Bleeder. Main place to find this creature outside of the inside of the Aurora. This is also in the Aurora Drive Bay. Rock grubs. You can find them in many places, but they're very convenient here. Shuttlebugs I already scanned, I believe, yes. Eye stalk I also already scanned. Tiger plant I also already scanned. I do need a gel sack, however. No, I already scanned that as well. In which case, I think we might be done here. And we come through to the Blood Kelp Trench. At this point, we want to scan the Ghostweed. And the Gabe's Feather. And a Spinefish. And now we descend. There is a patch over here where there are deep shrooms. Scan the deep shroom. Scan the blood vine. And then continue onwards. We do need to enter a little bit of a cave area. There's a warper here, which we might try our luck scanning. No, no such luck. We'll have to get one later. They appear with quite increased frequency in the lava zone, so it's generally not an issue. Here is a blighter. I can hear a blood crawler. Thankfully we don't have to see it in all its glory in the dark. They're not very pleasant creatures. Blood roots. We also need to scan. And onwards. might be a more efficient pathway to take through this area. I'm not 100% certain. If we'd kept going straight, perhaps. But I think we need the blood root regardless. So now we descend. There is a way below us into the Lost River. You just walked in, so I'm going to scan you now because I usually have time between them just appearing to scan them before they will disappear again. There we are. And that was him bamfing out, so yes, you have just enough time. Can be very close. And a stasis rifle does not prevent them from escaping. So now we come down into one of the Lost River corridors. And the reason for that is these brine lilies here. This is pretty much the only place in the game that you will find them. It's those little niche requirements that make routing this category quite interesting. So now we backtrack somewhat. Something we never really like to do, but... and it may not be the most convenient pathway. But I think it is, because we do need to go to the lab cache area anyway. I think I worked out that it was just slightly more efficient to approach from this direction than it was to come here first and then go the other direction. There's a couple of crab squids down here, so we will target one of them, because I don't see one over the other side, which would be more convenient. Scan one of these rather nauseating creatures. Yeah. Oh, there was one over here. Never mind. Sometimes they don't spawn in. They also have a bad habit of just popping out of walls, so... we'll scan the ghost ray while we're passing. And we enter the Lost River lab cache. That is why we created an orange tablet, because we do not go past the area that we would otherwise find it. Fossil, crab claw kelp, and amoeboid. Now we make our way through the rest of the Lost River cave system. Being careful to stay towards the left. The right channel takes us back up towards the deep Grand Reef. We do not want that. There is nothing exclusive to there that we are interested in. Enjoy the ambiance. And our next target comes into view. The Ghost Leviathan Juvenile. The ones that still live in the Lost River are juveniles. It's targeting a river prowler over here. That's very convenient. Please stay over this side. Of course it runs away. Try and get the hitbox. It's got lucky. Perfect. And now the Gargantuan Skeleton. Skeletal remains. One of multiple things to have the scannable name skeletal remains. The Gargantuan fossil is the Databank name. River Prowler, since it's right here. Good. And onwards. Interestingly enough, this biome is also a backup for mesmers. They tend to have eggs all around this area and will often spawn around here. But the area that they roam is much wider, so the better place to get them is either the bulb zone, where we did in the first place, or the kelp forest cave. I'm just not 100% certain about the kelp forest cave being a guaranteed spawn for them, and if you miss them there, then you would have to get one here. Obviously, if we were really optimized running this category, then we may take some of those risks. But in the planning stage, you kind of want to work on the idea of reliability more than just raw speed. And then that lets you identify those places where you may be able to start taking some luck-based shortcuts. Come across here, we can scan this, the Leviathan skeletal remains once again. It's a sea dragon skeleton this time. And we head towards the cove tree. It's probably more of a straight line to go to the cove tree first, and then pick up on the skeleton on the way back, perhaps. I do wish that they had some ghost leviathan babies around this area, since this is ostensibly their eggs. This is important to their life cycle. Not entirely sure why they didn't. Would have been nice. Believe you swim backwards as fast as you swim forwards when not using the sea glide, so we can do this and appreciate the cove tree for a little bit longer as we recede. Sadly, not enough active use in the game for it, for us to visit it as often as we would like. Now we proceed to the disease research facility. The ghost raid decided to jump. Please don't fight. No, I want to keep going this way. I believe we scanned a raid, didn't we? Yes. My memory is very lacking sometimes, which is a bit of a problem for categories like this, or 100%. And that is why I have notes. It is often a question that gets asked of people getting into speedrunning of whether or not they should take notes. I would generally encourage it. While it can be distracting looking away from the screen or to a different part of your screen, I have a large monitor and have a notepad open next to me. The time you save by just not forgetting things and not scrambling to think of what you should do next often makes it worth it, at least while you're learning. Gonna pick up a couple of iron cubes here. Probably doesn't matter too much, but we need to scan the rib cage. It's a very annoying place to have to scan those. And grab another iron cube, because why not? I will still need to pick up a sea crown scan, but not having to pick up iron cubes later when I'm in the containment facility aquarium may trim off just a little bit of time. The fact that they're very much on the way here makes it worthwhile. Hello, Warper. More Warpers. They do start to get more frequent as you descend. My notes actually have me scanning one in the lava zone, but since one presented itself earlier, it was convenient enough. So, next, a lot of scans are all in the lava zone. Now we just have to get here. we'll get there. Obviously, in a glitched run, we would MVB clip out using one of these archways and descend directly. We'll have to take the long way around. That's fine. Always thought there to be a strange, eerie beauty about the Lost River. Our other opportunity to scan a Ghost Leviathan juvenile is, of course, Casper here. But in a glitched run, we would shortcut this entirely. Magma. May as well start scanning these now, while they are conveniently presenting themselves. Red Eye. There's a lava here. Crimson Ray presents itself quite conveniently. There may be others that will be more convenient, but it's a pretty attractive silhouette right now. And Lava Lizard. That's more or less all the creatures from down here. We do, however, need to make sure that we scan, one, the big sea dragon, which will be difficult in itself, and two, the Reaper remains. There is the sea dragon. He is coming this way. Will he continue coming this way? Maybe. Unfortunately, he swims a lot faster than us, and it being creative and us being invisible to him doesn't make him compelled to stick around. This might take a while. They have a very long patrol route. They also sometimes then just clip into terrain and disappear. Get shot off into space. He is circling around now. Good. Should we go down and scan the Reaper remains? No, he's heading the other direction again. Okay, there is technically two of them around this area. There is also another one down in the lava lakes where we will be heading. I forget if there's other instances of the Reaper remains skeletons. Oh, he's going into the wall, of course he is. Kevin, you disappoint me. I don't see any more Reaper remain skeletons around here either. Oh, he's gone back the other. Well, here's the other one anyway. They very are annoying. Very are annoying? They really are very annoying. On survival, that is the advantage, where they do know you're there, and therefore will come after you. Once again, be very careful when you scan them on survival, even while stasis. Don't mind the janky hitbox, because they can and will still breathe fire at you. There is a Reaper skeleton over this side, that's good. Okay, good to know. Good to know in future. Still had to come a lot out of our way and waste a lot of time, but we can take this direction down into the lava lakes at least. We don't have to go all the way back the other side. More Leviathan skeleton remains, this time a Reaper. And now through to the containment facility. Taking the no damage route. I will sometimes take this direction in glitchless runs. I don't know whether or not it really makes a difference in terms of where the dragon is across the lakes. Sometimes you just don't see them at all. Other times, well, I can hear them already. And here, of course, it's a case of, well, we should have waited and just come straight down here for the sea dragon spawn, because he may have been more convenient for us, but just as easily be that he would be off behind the PCF somewhere and completely out of sight. And as it happens, he's like presenting himself in the most convenient place for us possible. Never mind. Maybe next time we'll do that. And here's where we needed the 2 blue tablets for, because it is a glitchless run. We cannot go into the aquarium out of bounds. We do have to go in the front door. Now we have 2 iron cubes already, so we don't need to do the full route that we would normally do here in a glitchless any percent. Plop. But we do still need a sea crown scan. And while we could try and overlap our trip to the scan in some fashions, we do need to worry about a couple of things here.
They played alone. They bored me.
Once you
Now
activate
gone.
the hatching,
And instead,
if you're not
we
careful,
have you.
the Empress will
We
get
are
locked into
curious
a
whether
cutscene
you swim with the current
where
or
you will
fight
then enter a
against it,
non-responsive
as they
state.
did.
And we want to avoid that because we still want her to blow the sand away. There's a couple of backups here. There's the Rouge Cradle, there's the Cave Crawler. I wonder if it might actually be better off just always leaving some... The Cave Crawlers I feel are safe at the Dickersy floating island base. They're always there. The Rouge Cradle, however, if it's not on the reef back you scan, then perhaps it would be better to just leave it till here. There's one. So she now pops down here. We then do that. And we then come up very quickly.
My young need to have
We missed the very quick skip,
this place.
but there we go, we've got her to
We
bounce.
have been here so
If you're not careful,
long.
she'll just get stuck down
The
there as they
others built a
hatch.
passage to reach the
Now we
world
could
outside.
scan one of them
I
now,
asked them
but
for this freedom, but they couldn't.
we can scan them on the other side.
If
So as we
you
know from any percent,
I
as soon as you
believe
hatch them,
really what the others
they will
tried
appear
in
on the
vain
other side of this
to
portal.
take.
You don't have to wait for them to go through the animation of swimming through. So that's important.
With the passage you've opened,
And now we can scan
my
one
young
of
can
the
leave this
juveniles.
place. But first they must feel the time is right and break free of their shells.
And then hopefully the last thing to
This
scan
is what the others could not force
will be the cuttlefish.
to you. I give the secret willingly.
So we're going to call time there and now check. So 6, that should be 7. Indigenous Lifeform 110. Yep, that's perfect because it's 111 and the cuttlefish resolved itself. Blueprints, Growbeard, that's right, we accidentally scanned that. We got a host peeper incidentally, and we always get the Emperor's life cycle there. But carnivores, all 14 carnivores. Stalker Tooth being counted as a carnivore in its own right for some reason. the 7 coral, the 7 deceased, the 7 herbivores large, of which cuttlefish is one of them, the 14 small herbivores being all of the fish that you can cook, the 7 leviathans, including both forms of the ghost leviathan and the sea emperor juvenile. Can't scan the large sea emperor, unfortunately. 9 scavengers and parasites, and then all 46 flora, being 12 exploitable, including the creepvine seeds as well as the creepvine, and including the bloodroot as well as the bloodvine. And then the 7 land plants that you only find on land, and the 27 sea plants, including such tricky things as the spiked horngrass, which is very easily missed. Perfect. Well, thank you very much for watching. Do like, do comment if you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time.